Fnatic took control before 2 minutes and never let go, achieving an even faster win. Now, one of these two teams is about to play their very last game at Worlds 2025. As we hop into Champ Select, powered by Omen and HyperX, it's MKOI back on the blue side, and the mid lane bans are taking priority, with LeBlanc and Aurora banned out alongside the Nico. Over on the other side, Orianna remains a top priority ban alongside Yunara and Vi.
Also, I'm surprised the Vi taken away by Fnatic, because that has kind of been their go-to in these sorts of situations. But now, we'll have to see what that first pick is going to be. Is getting deep in towards the draft. Talia, yeah, okay, so Talia, I was going to say left open, going to be immediately locked in. That has been, again, one of those Jojo Pion specials, good in team fights, good in side lanes. It's going to be a Fnatic now to try and disrupt that.
Exactly. Talia tied with Rise there for most picked by Jojo throughout LEC Summer at 5 picks. So we'll see what he can accomplish with the powerful roaming potential, with the powerful pick potential of this champion. Over on the Fnatic side, though, let's see what they've got cooking, because last time around, it was Mickey's Poppy that made so many plays. It's what facilitated the first blood. He played so aggressively on it. He absolutely gapped Alvaro in support in game number 2, and we want to see what they can get for playmakers this time around. But we're going with the Azir for the mid lane, the answer into the Talia, alongside Ezreal for upset.
Yeah, and the Ezreal hasn't worked out too well for Fnatic this time around at the tournament, but there is no Sion, that mega tank, available on the opposite side thus far, unless Miro wants to go back towards the Ornn. But now, going to immediately go over towards what has been the other go-to pick in the jungle with the Xin Zhao. Razor could actually end up opening up with the Trundle in response here if he really wanted to.
Right. We always look at Trundle as one of those picks that feels really good about Xin Zhao. So much of Xin Zhao's power budget as a champion is target access. He has the ability to threaten carries in the back line. Trundle's target access is much more limited, but if you're standing there fighting him in melee range, he's very, very powerful. So it looks like we'll get the... wait, not locked in just quite yet. I'm not going to get ahead of myself here. Okay, Braum picked up for MKOI for their support.
Yeah, I would double down on the Trundle pick now, because Braum doesn't give you the engage tools that you really want. Xin Zhao, not going to be great into things like the Ezreal and the Azir for trying to set up those fights. So you imagine Mirwin has to go for something that's going to be a bit tankier, a bit more engage, and that's why it's going to work fantastically here for that Trundle pick.
Well, it looks like they're thinking what you're thinking, my friend. I'm not going to call it until they lock it in, but I wholeheartedly agree. It seems like it's a good jungle matchup. It seems like it's a good comp matchup, and it seems like it's Trundle on pick 3 here for Fnatic. So now what do we want to see banned in the second half?
If I'm MKOI, I'm probably looking at actually banning away things like the Ornn now, because if Oscarinin ends up getting a frontline tank for this squad on Fnatic, it feels a bit lights out. It's incredibly potent what they're bringing to the table. Whereas when I look at Fnatic, I'm kind of unsure what way MKOI want to take the remainder of their draft. There's still a lot of AD carries that can be picked up here, and that looks like it's going to be the focus. And Mirwin, the specialty that this guy has is that flexibility in his top lane champion pool. So maybe if you want to try and limit that, something like the Rek'Sai, if you are going to go for a tank in the next rotation.
Okay, let's see here. What's it going to be, MKOI? Do we want to try to target those tanks? No, instead, going to look towards that Yorick. They don't want to deal with the powerful split-pushing pressure, and I can understand that, considering you've got Ezreal and Azir, who should be able to just, like, group up mid, clear out some waves, deal with that. That could be pretty facilitatory for a side laner to just wreak some havoc, so they want to take him off the table.
Will they? Now Fnatic continue with these AD carry bans. It is kind of taking away those picks that have that safety.
Yep.
I'm going to be the Caitlyn taken away. So definitely wanting to force MKOI onto something that's a bit more steady and immobile, which is perfect again for what I think could be an Ornn rotation here for Oscarinin if they really want to.
And I like this Karma ban here, because when you're banning out Tristana, when you're banning out Caitlyn, when you're banning out these long-range AD carries, it's telling me that you're kind of thinking, okay, well, if we force you onto something shorter range, we can play Ezreal Karma and just terrorize the lane. So MKOI's got that read. They're going to ban the Karma out. Looks like instead, Fnatic are going to think about their support here. I feel like this makes a lot of sense. You're on red side. You want to get some kind of a valuable counter pick here for your 5th pick. So they'll just lock in the Rel alongside the Ezreal for the bottom lane, knowing the support matchup already.
So it's not going to be great in lane, but will be nice if it goes. And that was immediately locked in. Wow. That's a Vayne.
Yeah, that's an instant Vayne. I'm just checking.
Okay,
so I'm just checking this really quick to make sure. I see no Vaynes for... Okay, never mind. But there's a Vayne, but it's only for upset.
Yeah.
This is Vayne for Supa. This is Supa's first Vayne. of summer. I don't actually have the stats pulled up for the rest of the year. I don't know if he played Vayne earlier on.
No,
okay.
It was not a thing.
Yeah. All right, first Vayne for Supa of 2025 here in their elimination game for MKOI.
And I love this rotation from MKOI because we were talking about the Ornn is a little bit tough to play for Fnatic into the Braum, but I think it's still incredibly strong just for providing that team fight and setup that you want. But now MKOI, they're the ones that have turned around and said, right, we're going to play this strong front to back, and there's not really that like ease of lockdown for the Vayne. Sure, Rel can try, but apart from that, this Vayne essentially gets to run through these team fights, and up against an Ezreal should have a relatively easy lane.
Okay, I'm excited for this. I have not seen a Vayne game in a little while, my friend. Like, this is going to be exciting. Obviously, Jax can be a little bit of a problem with the Counter-Strike, being able to dodge away from the auto attacks, but a well-piloted Vayne can be such a menace without adequate hard CC to lock her down. So yes, Jax has Counter-Strike. Ezreal has nothing to lock her down. Trundle can throw out a pillar, but again, when you're in final hour, your tumble is such low cooldown, it's very easy to get away from the pillar pretty easily. If Azir doesn't catch Vayne in the shuffle, he's not CCing her.
And it's also you're trying to jump over to get the Vayne across Taliyah Unraveled Earth, across Braum, across Ornn, across Xin Zhao. It's like, that's a lot of CC that's on the opposite side, trying to prevent you from doing just that. I love this pick from Supa, and I'm so excited to see now if it can pop off.
I'm ready to see it, man. We've got terrain creation on both sides. We've got so much space creation on both sides. I'm really excited to see how well MKOI can try to enable this Vayne, because this is it. This is the season for both of these teams. Your 2025 ends here if you lose as we get onto the Rift. Taking a look at the runes. Double Summoner Spellbook once again.
If I'm MKOI, though, and there is someone that I want to put that responsibility on, it is Supa. This guy has consistently been that top performer for MKOI. He has looked absolutely spectacular, memed a little bit when he first entered the league, but now has really risen to be the carry that you want on your squad. And now with the Vayne, has an opportunity to push MKOI deeper into the tournament, but it is up against Fnatic. And they'll be doing everything they can to try and shut down this bottom lane and make sure this Vayne never gets going.
Okay, I just double-checked to make sure there were absolutely no games in 2025 of Vayne. It's not that I didn't believe you. It's that I had to make sure that every time I said first-time Vayne 2025, I was not lying, because this seems like a hell of a way to say this is what we're putting our faith in. This is how we're keeping our world's dreams alive for MKOI. And remember that in the previous game, it was Mickey and Upset getting first blood before 2 minutes. So this time around, Supa and Alvaro have got to have a better time in the bottom lane.
Yeah, you can see, though, like, it is something that Supa has played in the past. He's 2-4 over the course of his career on Vayne. Played that when he was back in the LVP, but this is his first time playing at Tier 1, or let alone an international for the squad. So Supa hoping that he can be that carry.
First time in Tier 1 being an elimination game at Worlds is a seriously Chad play. It's either seriously Chad or seriously bad, depending on the outcome, and that's what the fans are going to remember. So for Supa's sake, for MKOI's sake, I hope that they can find the way to protect this Vayne and allow Supa the space he needs, because you know that Vayne kills pretty much everybody in 6 hits, right? 2 rotations of Silver Bolts. As long as she's got plenty of damage, it hurts. And this champ can be a serious, serious problem. And there it is, immediately concussive blows stacking up alongside the Silver Bolts, and Mickey takes a pretty rough trade.
I'm keeping my eyes on Razork, though. Is he making his way immediately down towards his bottom side? He is. So they want to try and punish on this bottom side of the map. Alvaro going to look for the ward.
Okay, but immediately Mickey going in, Supa with the early flash, but Alvaro's your target now. Razork continuing to move forward. Alvaro has to flash away. The Braum backing up here. Remember that he has the Winter's Bite, he has the Unbreakable, but since Stand Behind Me wasn't available, that means that he has to commit the flash since he can't jump to safety towards Supa.
Jojo's TP'd very aggressively in towards his mid-wave, though. I think they want to try and look for an invade here and follow up on it. Oyoya, though, second-guessing himself, doesn't think that his bot lane is high enough HP, and a bit worried about Poby on his own reset coming in to help out.
Yeah, both mid laners taking a very early first back plus first teleport. I mean, it's only a tier purchase for JoJo plus potions. It's only a dagger purchase plus potions on the other side for Poby. So generally earlier than they would like to make that first recall, as Elyoya is going to have control over the bottom side river, control over the Scuttle Crab. And it looks like we're going to see a recall here from Supa go back and make his first purchase as well.
I'm curious what Razork wants to do in this sort of situation, though. He's about to finish off his camp, should be able to reset first and come back out onto the map if he wants to. Could try and make a play up towards his top side, but he looks like he's trying to sneak his way into the bottom side of the map instead. And this is great from JoJo, spotting, and hang on a second, we don't see the Trundle on the top side. He could be anywhere.
Okay, you can see on your screen right now that last game. We've got some game 1 versus game 2. This is the games that each team respectively won. It was Fnatic getting first blood in both of them, but now we've got the jungler showing up down here in the bottom side. Alvaro trying to get away, but wind becomes lightning coming out from Elyoya. It's first blood over to Supa with the condemn into the wall on Razork. Elyoya might die, but Supa wants to get one back. He tumbles and he finds the shot, but Upset is about to grab a double kill for himself. Both AD carries now with 2 kills. Oh! Mirwin nearly solo kills Oscar as the Ornn into the Jax right after.
The auto attack wasn't quite there for Mirwin, or he would have got that kill. But this game is already becoming bloody flowers. The kills on the bottom side, both junglers showing up in the bottom lane, and that's what I was talking about, is a good read from Razork, moving back down towards his bottom side, potential to make a play, but also prevent Elyoya from showing up in that bot lane once more. Now Fnatic go for Crab and potentially just vision into this topside jungle.
And the fact that both AD carries get the kills, the money is right where both teams would want it. Let's take another look.
But this, remember I was saying, but Razork had a chance because you'd assume Elyoya had gone back in towards jungle. Level 4 versus level 3, you can make the play, but that CC was clutch onto Mickey, prevents any sort of follow-up. Then Supa with the condemn on Razork and the Braum starting to follow up. Allows them to get 2 kills for Supa. Upset will answer with a double kill, but if it's kills to a Vayne versus kills to an Ezreal, I know which side I'm picking.
The Vayne kills definitely feel better, I would have to say, but Upset also feeling pretty good about having double buffs on that Ezreal now. Very effective champion to be commanding those on level 4. Supa, level 4 on the Vayne as well, but Upset is much closer to level 5, because remember, he's not the one who died in that scrap in the bottom lane 2v2, or 3v3, I guess I should call it, since both junglers were also there. So now we've got the bottom lane duos here in mid. We have 2 minutes on the Grubs. Dragon has already spawned. It is the Mountain Drake. Those are harder to take than some of the other ones because of the tankiness of the objective. And it looks like Alvaro is going to go ahead and be the first support to step out of lane here. Just get a little vision at the entryway to the jungle. You talked about how Trundle is one of those good picks into Xin Zhao. He feels comfortable moving into Xin Zhao's territory, comfortable dueling against him if he finds him. So they just want to make sure that Razork isn't trying to steal away those resources.
Yeah, and immediately you can see MKOI moving Supa in towards this mid lane. They want to get him out of this long lane while you have the opportunity for Trundle to try and come in onto this bottom side. So instead, making things a bit easier for Supa, and Razork finding JoJo, but
ooh, JoJo now stunned up by the Shattering Strike. Razork and Poby going in for the shuffle. JoJo forced to flash, otherwise surely would have been dead there.
A good flash from JoJo to get over the Azir wall. Still, though, this pressure is coming through, and I like seeing Razork taking these aggressive trades. Knows he's stronger when it comes towards the backup he has and how just much presence Trundle has in these early stages. Will net the Dragon for Fnatic and buy them a little bit of space on this bottom side.
All right, so also the thing that I'm looking at, once we get into these larger fights, you already mentioned the amount of CC. Supa takes a little bit of damage here. Mickey and Upset going to keep looking for a little bit more, but Alvaro doing a good job protecting his AD carry. You already mentioned the amount of CC that the team built around this Vayne is able to provide. But the other thing that I'm looking at, Ornn makes that volcanic rock appear. JoJo makes the entire Weaver's wall. Trundle even makes a pillar. There's a lot of stuff for Vayne's Condemn to knock people into, and Supa's going to have a lot of extra tools through that to play around in these team fights to knock back whoever's trying to dive onto him.
And that's the thing, I think if I'm Supa, that's the key to this, is not using that Condemn proactively in a lot of these situations. You have enough people that can use that terrain like as well. Like Ornn is fantastic, the Talia can work well with this. You don't need to be the one using your Condemn. Use it for whoever manages to slip their way through all the cracks. Keep them pushed back, and as long as you're not getting locked up by Oscar and NCC or Mickey CC, you can carry these engages.
Elyoya happy to start up the Void Grubs here. Going to be jumping on those shortly after they spawn. Mickey is around the area, going to step forward and at least see what he's up to. Elyoya has secured the first grub, so even if Fnatic wants to overload this area, there's no way for them to grab all three. Mickey just going to kill the little grub mites there as Elyoya heads back towards the area. Double buffs on this Xin Zhao does make him very strong, and we'll see Upset shoving in the wave, and now he and Elyoya can rotate over with Mickey to get priority over the topside river.
Yeah, Fnatic going to be able to push this back. So because we're seeing the Blade of the Rune King build coming out from Supa, this is where you are going to be much stronger in a fight, but you're bad at contesting on the wave, which is where you're going to have Upset continuously able to shove these waves in and Supa approaching later.
Okay, now bottom side, JoJo gets shuffled back by Poby. No flash available on the Taliyah. Remember, that already had to be used last time. Poby gets some good damage onto the MKOI mid laner, but JoJo continues looking to make his exit. Poby with a flash forward. Feat of Warfare claimed by Fnatic. Poby with the solo kill down in the bottom lane as Oscar Renan survives with 200 HP up here on the top side. MKOI's not going to get anything back here just yet. Oscar Renan down very low, and he's executed by the ultimate of Elyoya. The counter-strike he was hoping would be able to keep him alive there, but Xin Zhao ulti with just enough burst damage to take him down. With the enemy top laner dead, that actually opens up the window for Elyoya to secure the remaining two grubs.
Yeah, I'm surprised that honestly Mickey didn't block it, or Oscar Renan didn't use his flash. No communication on what was happening to Supa.
Yeah, Supa down to about 400 HP here. Mickey also low. Alvaro, again, just doing what the Braum was drafted to do and protecting this Vayne.
Yeah, the thing is, though, on that play, because Fnatic had just got the solo kill for Poby on the bottom side, he had shoved in the wave, would have been able to reset and TP to the fight if you needed him to do so. And that could have been the Fnatic win con just for those Void Grubs. But instead, because Oscar Renan ends up going down and there's that miscommunication, it gives MKOI that little bit of a chance now to get the Void Grubs, which is so crucial for this short-range composition. We see here, though, the play, JoJo tries to go forward, but Poby immediately cuts him off, knowing that JoJo doesn't have that flash, and tries to sidestep here the boulder so then he could actually be in a position to chase down JoJo, but still burns the flash and has managed to pick him off.
Exactly. This is the dividends being paid on the earlier flash from JoJo, and here's the play and how Oscar got caught.
Yeah, tried to go all in on Mirwin, not respecting where Elyoya was on the map, and again the CC chain very, very strong. Managed to escape, but here I thought Mickey would just block the shot. You have the flash, you have his crash down as well to get the space that you need, but neither the flash from Oscar Renan to dodge the Wind Becomes Lightning or the Q from the Braum means he ends up falling.
Yeah, that's just an extra kill over to MKOI. 500 gold lead for them, but again, that's so close. Everything is still contestable for Fnatic. This next Drake not spawning for another minute and a half. It's one neutral objective to either side, as we did have the first Drake go the way of Fnatic. We did have all of the grubs go the way of MKOI. Poby now, nice footwork there, making sure that he does not get caught out by the seismic shove into the unraveled earth. 60 seconds left on our Drake timer. Upset doing a good job trading into Supa, as we still see neither one of those 80 carries having their first item fully completed. And critically, with this dragon fight becoming imminent, the Sundered Sky completed for Elyoya. This is one of the strongest single item power spikes in the game. He has his item fully completed. Razork does not. All of these Trinity Force builders are at pieces of their Trinity, and now Mirwin's got to try to get away, as Oscar and Razork want to make the move on the MKOI top laner, but they don't have the damage.
Razork goes to just not quite in range to get that pillar down to stop the charge away from Mirwin. So it means that Razork not able to get in position. I don't think they wanted to overcommit to this play anyway, because as you say, Dragon in just a couple of seconds time, hoping they could burn a flash or an ultimate for Mirwin before that objective starts. And Elyoya looking to do the same, but Oscar Renan, spidey senses were tingling.
Exactly. He knew. He's like, all right, if my guy was doing it, his guy is probably at least thinking about doing it. We do have teleports available for both of those top laners to join up with this dragon fight if they want to do it. We have items completed in both mid lane inventories now, with the Archangel Staff critically not fully stacked into the Seraph's Embrace for JoJo Pyun, and then the Nashor's Tooth done there for Poby. Trinity Force and Blade of the Ruined King in the inventories of Upset and Supa respectively here as well. So everybody's kind of hitting the same power spike at the same time, which means nobody's got a decisive advantage in this dragon fight aside from the jungle role, unless Razork goes and completes it right now.
Should have it now, yeah,
There
but
it
it's
is.
the back timers that are an advantage for MKOI, and that's the part that's making the difference. They've already set up in River, and now being able to push back Fnatic, who are trying desperately to use this bot lane to gain access, but they might have just found Mickey.
Good sidestep though. Not getting tagged by the Winter's Bite means he doesn't have to use the crash down defensively over the wall to make sure that he stays safe. Shattering Strike does not hit. Alvaro now could be in a little bit of danger for the Glacial Fissure. Right back onto Mickey. He's the target. Elyoya goes in and Jojo Pune secures the kill. Now Razork flashes over the wall trying to stay alive. Upset, stunned back by the Condemn. Supa's on the chase. Elyoya wants to hit him with the wind becomes lightning and Supa flashes forward. Upset's out of there. And Supa just goes in on him.
Supa forcing the duel versus Upset and almost catches him off guard. I think Upset was expecting Supa to chase down. Oh, wait, Razork caught as well?
Yeah, Razork steps a little bit too far forward. He seismic shoved back into the unraveled earth, just disrespecting MKOI's control over the area. And Razork is punished. Enemy jungler dead. Here's your blank check for Dragon Money. Nothing to it there for MKOI. As Mickey's back, he's looking around. He's trying to find some vision to clear out, but Elyoya should be able to take this Drake no problem.
Yeah, well, Poby has stuck around on this bottom side. Mickey just trying to be a bit of a nuisance, but Elyoya chasing him down. The Dragon, does a reset here?
No, Patience isn't ticking down quite yet. He's at the very edge of his Patience, Dagda, as Mickey continues to take a little bit more damage. Supa finally arrives. Dragon's finally going to lose some Patience there, but ultimately secured by Elyoya. Mickey did a good job of being a distraction, but could not distract enough. Ultimately, as the TP is going to bring Jojo up into the top lane. This was a little bit sketchy. Does manage to use that seismic shove to knock Oscar into the furthest forward rock of the unraveled earth, stun him up and stay alive. But Jojo losing 60% HP there off of a little bit of an aggressive teleport. Not exactly what you want to see.
No, at least Alvaro coming up here to help him out and ensure that he can continue to push in this wave. Even having Elyoya to back him up as well means he should be fine. But with Rift Herald here,
oh, nice pillar coming out from Razork. Immediately pops the subjugate as well. Supa is the target, and Fnatic needs a little bit more damage to secure the kill. Mickey wants to go for the Magnet Storm, but Mickey dying gives triumph over to Supa. There's no way for the Trundle damage to get the kill, plus Blade of the Ruined King with a lifesteal. Supa stays alive. Fnatic overplays their hand, and with the enemy jungler ultimate down, with the enemy support dead, MKOI will say thank you very much. Collect a free Herald.
And it's Fnatic members just dying at unopportune times that are causing these issues. We get Oscar Rinnan before the Void Grub's dying. Now we're getting the kill onto Mickey just as the Rift Herald spawns, and Oscar Rinnan might fall afterwards.
Oscar trying to get away from this one. Elyoya and Jojo moving together. Nice placement there on the seismic shove. Counter-Strike trying to turn it around a little bit, but there's nothing to turn around in a 2v1 when Talia hits her CC. It's another free kill over to MKOI. Razork will at least steal the red buff away, but a red buff traded for a kill, now going to be traded for a tier 1 turret. That's not enough.
And I don't know if Oscar Rinnan's allergic to his flash button this game, but kind of needs to start using that a little bit more. As Fnatic now on the bottom side.
Fnatic's on the bottom side. They're trying to secure this first turret. They want to try to win the Feats of Warfare with this. However, the Herald was already used on the top side, and the Feats are going to go over to MKOI. Now they're still trying to beat the turret down in enough time to take the fight. Poby summons up the Sun Disc, but Alvaro and Mirwin will just walk away. Yes, they lose the turret, but they only needed to hold it long enough to win the Feats, and that's what they did.
Exactly, and for MKOI, honestly, I really like the scaling that they have on their squad. The fact that they're sitting with a 4k gold lead, 1.5 of that is sitting on this Vayne as well. They're in such a strong position, and because Fnatic are trying to play over towards these side lanes, they're not punishing Supa, who's continuing collecting money for free underneath this mid tower and just getting so incredibly strong. It feels very tough for Fnatic to find the advantages that they want.
Let's take another look at how this happened in mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, you get the all-in here, but great condemn here from Supa just before the CC went through onto Mickey, prevents that crash down, which would have bought them enough time. But Mickey hoping, look, if I trade 1 for 1 on this play, it's worth it. We can then look towards the Rift Herald. But Supa outplays in the 1v3.
And you saw there, when Mickey hit the auto attack and Supa went into the invisibility, he thought, okay, maybe Magnet Storm's damage will kill him, but it takes him down to 20. And then since Blade of the Ruined King has that percent HP lifesteal, it just gives him enough HP to survive. Supa lives, and those are just the heartbreakers. Everybody who's ever played League has had one of those before, but now MKOI potentially going for an invade. Fnatic maybe with a collapse, but no, it's Jojo riding the wall straight in. It's Oscar dead first. Mickey wants to get away, but the Weaver's wall fades, and Mickey just barely has enough distance to get it out of that one, but it's a 4,500 gold lead for MKOI. They want to make it 5 and take down this tier 1 turret. They've got the wave, they've got the man advantage. Here comes True Shot Barrage, real nice damage onto 3 with that one, but still the pressure keeps coming in as Razork's going to be careful. Seismic Shove again, he's getting juggled around by the Glacial Fissure. One more hit will kill him, but he stays alive with the Subjugate for now. Mirwin bowls him over the Orn Horn, and MKOI have 10 kills.
MKOI played that so well around Poby's range. Poby TP'd in and was dying to get that knockback with the Emperor's Divide, but he's not giving it, and now he's pushing forward.
And we got a TP coming in. Mickey wanted to step forward to make something happen, but now he's going to be in some danger. Jojo takes the kill, but Ayoya is going to be very low. Finally a shutdown, finally a kill, back to Fnatic. Upset's taking the credit, and Oscar gets another shutdown, this time on a Jojo. Supa and Alvaro trying to disengage. Fnatic gets something back, and at least try to staunch the bleeding.
It's something back, and crucially, some of that gold going into the hands of Poby is going to be very nice for them alongside Upset, but still, it's MKOI kind of dictating how these fights happen. Look how they play here. They know Poby is fishing for this Emperor's Divide, so they're constantly kiting back just out of his range, denying him that opportunity. And Mirwin with the snipe down in the back line. At this stage though, MKOI done their job. All they need to do is back away. Sticking around for the tower was a little bit too greedy. They don't have to burn the flash on Jojo. Ayoya does help get a kill back, but with Oscar Erden coming in, it's more on the dinner plate for them, for Fnatic, than it is for MKOI.
And then the flash there from Alvaro at the very edge to escape the counter-strike from Oscar Rinnan. That counter-strike, if it would have hit him, would have gained another kill over to Fnatic. So Fnatic happy to shrink this gold lead here a little bit, come back into the game slightly. It was up to almost 5K, now down to 3.5, but it is still a very large advantage for MKOI, who will collect their second Drake of the game.
This is a bit of a mistake from Fnatic though. They're not actually going for the turret trade on the top side. They're sending Poby back. And it means that MKOI get the Dragon, there's no real trade, and they won't be able to protect this bot side turret either. Fnatic failing on the cross map, failing in the fights, and might just fail at making it one step further at Worlds now.
Back to an over 4,000 gold lead for the side of MKOI. Fnatic are starting to feel the pressure. We're still in a state in the game, Dagda, especially with Otacon spawning, where I feel like Fnatic still have the ability to make a play that can turn things around. But if this lead grows much larger, they're going to be entering into the territory where they're counting on an MKOI mistake. The lead will be too big to simply make a good play of their own and get back into the game.
Well, the problem is at this stage, there's so many threats on MKOI as Mirwin finds Mickey.
Now Mickey's going to step forward, goes in for the Magnet Storm, but he hasn't found Supa here just yet. Supa going back over the wall as Oscar Rinnan's going to get stunned up, blown up, shot down. He's out. Fnatic lose their top laner as MKOI make sure they win this team fight. They're the ones in charge. Mirwin's in the enemy jungle. Just Ornn 1v9 raid boss status. Looks like the enemy team might have the gear score they need to take him out though, so a flash away defensively. Rest of the team on MKOI going down to the Otacon pit.
Oh, it's phase 2.
Has joined back up. Mickey's got to be careful as he walks away from this one. Razork can't get anywhere near it, and Otacon is slain without casualties by MKOI.
I was convinced that we were about to have round 2 for MKOI as they look for that invade. But still, it's Fnatic overextending to try and pick Supa. But what I was going to say right before the fight starts is you have too many threats. Ayoya is massive with 2 items on the Sinzao. Jojo is still strong. And honestly, Mirwin is dealing a ton of damage himself. Yeah. Like, even if you kill Supa, the wallets for MKOI are just too big.
Is seriously a problem. You can see now with Mirwin hitting level 14, empowered Blade of the Ruined King for Supa as well, so making that advantage rise even larger. I think in the current iteration of Ornn, the ornaments are worth about 800, 900 gold each, so you can just go ahead and add 1,600, 1,800 extra gold to the already 4.8 thousand gold lead as Mickey tries to escape. And Alvaro and Supa have arrived. That Rel is shot down in the air. Jojo picks up kill 3.
Yeah, at this stage, Mickey just trying to get out onto the map to see if he can do anything to catch MKOI out. But this game is already slipping very heavily in favor of MKOI. And it looks like MKOI will manage to, if they can hold this, keep themselves alive, go to 1-2 in Worlds 2025.
Exactly, man. This is where the pressure really starts to mount. Both teams obviously not starting with the type of opening they would want in the first couple of games of Worlds. Being in the O2 bracket is always such a daunting task because you have to then play and win 3 best of 3s to earn your spot in the knockout stage, in those quarterfinals. And winning this one is the first step. Fnatic currently down almost 6,000 gold. They're down 17 flower petals. They're down an extra Drake, and they have to try to find a way back into this game. But all of their attempts so far have not been coordinated enough.
No, they're trying to pick off Supa again. Everything is here, but MKOI reading it well, knowing that they don't want to give too much across. And Fnatic floundering and find nothing. And we knew it was going to be difficult for Fnatic. Over the course of this year, it has not looked so hot for them against MKOI. But again, MKOI just doing a great job of keeping them in check.
Yeah, when we looked back at the head-to-head throughout the year, back in game number 1, I believe it was 4 victories for MKOI to the 1 of Fnatic. Has been very MKOI favored throughout 2025. They've had Fnatic's number most of the time, and it looks like here in game number 3, they're set to do it again. Fnatic moving forward, but Razork is immediately met by Alvaro and Supa. The rest of MKOI not here quite yet, but a nice horn onto 3. Mickey's gonna die before we can cast a spell. Now Razork's trying to get away, but he's exhausted. Killed by Jojo. The remaining 3 players of Fnatic try to escape, but MKOI's in hot pursuit. Sundisk at least going to buy enough time to stop the MKOI assault, but a nice opening there from MKOI. The Call of the Forge God knocking up 3, the exhaust onto Razork so he couldn't do anything, the unraveled earth right underneath of everybody. There was no way out.
MKOI are just playing this slow. They understand as long as they stay together, they're going to be in a fantastic spot. And if Fnatic can't find these picks, they're just running more and more gold into the hands of Jojo, into the hands of Supa. And now they respond 20 seconds until that next dragon is up, and MKOI get to spend their gold.
And what a frustrating situation right there for Oscar. You want to try to defend your turret, but Talia just throws out Unraveled Earth. If you jump on her, you're stunned. If you walk close, you get shoved. There's just nothing he can do, as now the Baron is spawning, and you can see MKOI moving up to the area just to establish some vision, make sure nobody's going to sneak it from Fnatic. And here's another look at what we were talking about, that head-to-head throughout the year. The 2025 LEC Winter Playoffs lower bracket. That was the one time Fnatic won. Otherwise, it's been the MKOI show.
Yeah, and that was kind of where MKOI were trying to find their footing coming in towards winter, but since then it has been domination from MKOI in so many of these series. It's tough. I mean, the 2025 upper bracket round 1 for summer was where you got to see that push from Fnatic, where they were nearly able to take down MKOI and send themselves into such a strong position. But once more, they find themselves just that little short of being able to take down this MKOI roster. And the Spanish fans are going to be cheering loud tonight if MKOI can put that nail into the coffin.
They're on Soul Point now with a 7,500 gold lead. They want a couple of more kills. They'll at least force the flash out of Razork, but the flash isn't enough. They want blood. El Yoya takes the kill. Supa firing some extra bolts towards Oscar Venom, but the counter-strike keeps him healthy. MKOI having taken out the enemy jungler. Baron on the map right now. You'd have to think that's the direction they're going to head towards. Poby is down to the bottom lane at the same time, trying to provide a little bit of split push threat, but Jojo is already ready to answer that one, has his teleport to join the Baron fight if need be.
Yeah, you can see the observer showing there's some wards here for Fnatic that Poby could look to TP to, try and find that pick, but they're just never going to allow it. Alvaro blocks up, upsets ultimate, and the fight begins.
All right, teleport from Mickey coming around from the side. Oscar in the middle of everybody, but immediately Poby is dead as the fight begins. Supa's under pressure, but he isn't dead yet. The rest of the team peels beautifully. Fnatic knew they had to try something, but it just wasn't enough. MKOI pick up 3 for 3. They're gonna take the Baron. That Baron just melts in the face of Ginsu's Bork Vein, and now MKOI command over 10,000 gold of a lead.
And they command everywhere that Fnatic can step, everywhere that Fnatic can look. And Fnatic tried so desperately here. It's a good engage from Mickey. Oscar Vernon jumps in, but this is what we're talking about. The CC and the peel that is offered to Supa in these fights is so difficult unless you have everyone there. And MKOI keep their AD carry safe, and we'll ride that high towards the base.
10.3k gold. 23 flowers, 2 extra drakes, 2.5 minutes on that last Drake, so even if Fnatic managed to have a miraculous defense inside their base, they've still got a lot of tasks ahead of them to have any chance coming back into this game. They are now relying on some sort of mistake from MKOI, some kind of a misplay, some kind of an overdive, because it's just so hard to play from this much of a disadvantage. Razork stepping forward, pops the ulti just to try to survive, but the damage from the Vayne is so much. Razork, one more auto attack from Supa would have killed him, and he barely hobbles away, but now that's Trundle without an ulti, trying to team fight whenever they try to defend.
And it's the towers that are going to fall. This Baron is exactly what you need for this short-range composition to take them down.
Now Poby about to get stunned up there by the concussive blows. Supa's unstoppable. Poby's down. Mickey's about to join him. It's 2 kills already over to MKOI, and Oscar's lost his counter-strike. He'll be third to die. MKOI, it might have been a longer series than they would have hoped for. That second game might have been a little rough, but here in game number 3, they're showing they've got what it takes. Nexus turret's under fire. Razork about to die. They'll stun him up and beat him down just to make a statement. MKOI will emerge victorious from the LEC Civil War. They will make their way onto the Nexus. They will add insult to injury, looking to find the last kill here onto Upset. Mickey respawns and charges out. He immediately has to charge right back away into a black and white screen. MKOI stay alive at Worlds and eliminate Fnatic.
The LEC hierarchy remains the same.